Well, we're here at the Long Beach High Performance Swap Meet in sunny Southern California. Anyway, gonna go ahead and see who decided to show up inside of the rain and walk around and look at everything. We are curious what if inflation on the used car market is still, or used car parts is still going on, and enjoy.
Doing today?
Oh, it's a beautiful Buick.
How are you? Oh, I'm enjoying this liquid sunshine. That's all I'm doing. Liquid sunshine. It's California, it don't rain, right?
Yeah.
That's
I got some land in Florida I want to sell you.
Swampland.
It's only that far underwater.
Yeah, that's all. No problem.
That's cool. It's the old
Is this
Buick.
a straight 8 still, or did they do
Yeah.
the...
Oh, it's a straight 8. Okay.
Yeah, it's all original. I pulled it out of a barn in Meridian, Idaho.
Meridian, Idaho?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was stored for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
29,000 original miles.
Oh, wow.
Look at the inside.
I love the suicide
That's
doors on the... That's my soft spot. Is the...
Al Capone had 6 of these.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
He liked the Buicks.
I could be just like Al Capone. He died of syphilis.
You don't want to do that.
It's a bad way to go.
Yeah,
It's a bad way to
that's
go.
not my first choice. Yeah.
All right. Good luck, man.
Well, have fun with it, guys. That's why we're here.
I tell people that. I tell people that. I said the only time that I get the same feeling I get when I'm around messing with cars is when I'm hanging out with my kids. And I'm like, yeah, my kids are that frustrating. I got no choice but to have.
Export only from Germany. Yeah, no, I lived in Germany 18 years.
That's the only reason I'm selling it.
Someone had a wet drive-in. UW thing. Got a C10 club coming in. OJ Bronco. Two-door Model A with 32 build. Small block Chevy. Classic company. No, it's a small block Ford, excuse me.
Patina trucks always get a lot of
Yeah. It was last year for the 914. It's kind of rough. It's way rough. I mean, not as rough as mine, but I paid $1,800 for mine. El Camino. For all of our JDM fans, which there are none, little 510s are really cool little cars, and because of that, they are super duper expensive, especially for anything you actually want to own. Not going for quite C2 Corvette money, but they are definitely going for stupid money. I definitely think the C2 Corvette is the prettiest Corvette. And I definitely love the Stingray. They're it's so hard to argue with them. That with a hot little small block, upgrade the brakes and chassis just enough. Those are sweet little cars. First gen Camaro, 69. Believe it or not, this soft top is actually a factory option for this, the Dakota. So it's actually a pretty unusual, rare setup. And we all know I just like G bodies. The only reason why I don't have a yard full of G bodies is because they're not smog exempt in California. Oh, another Ford powered Ford. Maybe there's a trend starting here. Okay, alright, universe is crap. We got a Chevy powered Ford here. Alright. Everything's right in the world. El Camino. We got our early Fords, Model A, small block Ford, small block Chevy, Model A, Model A, both 5 windows. Very cool. 56. Excuse me. I think this was here last time we were here, last few times we were here, as well as, of course, Pomona. And on the 56. Four-door. Okay, got a LS swapped truck 6-liter.
Best part of it is the bike.
Yeah, it's a good looking bike. Not familiar with NSU.
En mi carro no trae power steering. No trae power steering porque lo hicieron para carreras.
Whoa, it's a 67. 67 SS.
Sí, 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 sí.
Nice.
No, y a mí me gustaría que trajera así como este. A lo mejor sí.
Very cool. The first gens, I think 67, 68 are better than 69. Sold more 69s, but in part they sold so many 69s because it was a year, they sold for a year and a half. Because it took them, because the 70 didn't come out until middle of the model year.
Ni aire acondicionado.
Another LS swapped. I mean, not very pretty engines, but it's so hard to argue with. One in Chevy Chase, 241,000 miles, and thing's still a beast. So, I mean, anyone who criticizes them, the only criticism you can really say about these LS truck swaps is they're not very pretty and they're so incredibly common, but it's the same argument we always did about putting the small block Chevy in everything. It works. It works really well. Now, can anyone argue against a big block Chevy? I mean, can you? I mean, one of the best engines. Ford Custom. I think it's a Buick. Dig it. Dig it, dig it, dig it. '58 Chevy. It's interesting how big of a jump. And oh, ran into Mike. It's amazing how much of a jump in size the 58 was. And then again, this is the first year that you could get the big block, Mark I big. And so we're back. And I mentioned in the opening of this video, it was our intention to go and see what the prices of, you know, common things we're all looking for. T5 transmissions, Muncie 4-speeds, engine blocks, manifolds, etc. You get an overall market survey, and apparently the market surveyed well. Yeah. You know the problem when you go without really looking for anything, you inevitably end up finding a lot of stuff that is cool and the price is just right. So now remember, very little of any of this stuff we actually need. But once again, in all fairness, there's a fair amount of the stuff that we picked up at scrap prices. So, okay, so nice thing about swap meets is there's always someone selling machinist tools and tools in general. So I picked up these V-blocks and a sign plate. Probably overpaid a little bit for used hardware at $110 for this whole set, but I got it. Of course, you know, any one of these relatively new is, you know, it's a $500 object. So we got all of that. Okay, we got these factory aluminum Ford heads for a early 21 stud that run the water pump in the heads. We happen to have a 21 stud block. Still need the rotating assembly, but we got the heads, aluminum heads. We got cast iron heads too, but there's some, I don't know how well it's coming through on the camera here. Oh, there we go. You should be able to see a little better. But you can see they've been welded on, and there's a few, you know, issues with the welds. So, and welding on 80-year-old, 90-year-old aluminum, you're going to have that. I think it was $200 for the heads and this intake. Nice, and it's a, you know, Edelbrock 3 intake. It's nothing really special, really. We also picked up these light stanchions that are, you know, hot rod light stanchions. So that, and they just, you attach to the frame, you bolt them to the frame. They still need to be drilled and for mounting, drilled and tapped for mounting, but you know, they are drilled for the wire. So we got those. We got 2 sets of those. Also got this 32 5-window dash. Got this as part of a package deal. It's got some bolt holes in it. Got that. That was the asking price. Of course, this plus then we got this original grill and grill surround for, what was it total? $400 for it all?
I think it's $400 for everything.
I think it's $400 for everything. A lot less than what they're asking. So, got this rear cross member for early Ford, 32 I believe. 32 or A, I forget.
That's the 32.
And a front cross member, excuse me, because we got the motor mounts. So yeah, this is for a V8, so it's a 32. Asking price, we got it for $80. All right, so saw this 9-inch, and since we were just asking about common hot rod items, how much stuff goes for, asked how much you want for the 9-inch, and the gentleman said $150. So I cussed, reached into my pocket and pulled out $150. And then he went ahead and showed us the 2 small blocks. And what it is he was cleaning out his uncle's machine shop. My uncle died and had this automotive machine shop, and so he's getting rid of everything. And so for the price of these 2 small blocks, one machined, one unmachined but good solid core, the 9-inch and the flywheel, was $210. So that was a smoking hot deal. We really killed it on that. Got this cast iron, late Ford flathead to early Ford transmission adapter. So that was like 200.
It was $100.
$100. That's good luck beating that, especially something that's that quality.
I've seen lesser desirable examples for sale online. They're a little bit more beat up and a little bit worse shape for about $80. But that one being as pristine as it was for $100, I didn't argue with the gentleman when he said that was his asking price.
Yep. Of course, for land speed racing, we're required, safe seat. So we got this seat. We got the built-in head and shoulder restraints. So a good quirky race seat. What was that? 200?
300.
300. Okay, $300 for this, and it's basically a $1,500 seat new. And this was, it's used, or it's not used, but it's second-hand market, but unused. So instead of cutting up and modifying existing quirky seats we have laying around, we were able to pick up this one, so we're good to go. Okay, so like, what kind of stuff were you looking for, and what like price range and like historic versus a few years ago versus today?
So, I mean, pre-pandemic, everything basically had a set price. Like, you knew exactly what somebody was going to ask for this product. I mean, it didn't really seem to matter what condition it was in. It didn't seem to matter. Like a T5 went for $400 to $500, like regardless. If it was rebuilt, it was $1,000. If it was used, it was $400 or $500. That was just the price. An oil pan was $50. I'm gonna use the oil pan as an example because I have personal experience with the oil pan. In the middle of the pandemic, I spent $250 on an oil pan, a very specific oil pan, but $250 on a used oil pan
For a flathead.
because I could not get another one. The swap meets weren't open. They weren't on eBay. There was nothing listed on Craigslist. I just couldn't get it, and I needed it. So to finish a build, so I ended up spending way more, 5 times as much as I thought was reasonable, and I still spent it. Coming back, we're a couple of years after the end of the lockdown, and the swap meets have been open for a year. And as soon as the swap meets opened up, it seemed like pricing was outrageous. The people were asking just outrageous prices for stuff and everybody, it was just, people were paying outrageous prices because they couldn't get it. And now that it was readily available, people were still asking those same outrageous prices. And here it is, a year on, 2 years on, and I wanted to see if the market had corrected, if the prices had stabilized. I wanted to see if the prices had gone down. And it wasn't anything in particular that I was looking for, because around here we build everything. We joke about having a preference for early Ford or having, muscle car Chevy or Mustang, or we joke about it, but we'll build anything. Another thing that we don't usually do is talk about pricing. But in order to evaluate the market, we're going to have to start listing some kind of pricing. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm bragging, I spent this much money or whatever. This is just what this stuff costs. And if you guys don't know what it costs, you don't know what's a reasonable price to spend. And the only way that we're going to know is if we got a reasonable price is if you put it in the comments.
How much for the one for the small block?
For this much over here in Arkansas. Hey, at Hershey, these were going for this much.
And we have just certain guidelines, like, 9 inches, Ford 9-inch under $500, we just buy. We don't need it. So, what our conclusion as far as what prices are going for? We looked a lot of T5s, and pre-pandemic, we already mentioned you can get them for $300 to $500, $1,000 for a rebuilt one that's super special. Now they seem to be 5 to 750. A Muncie 4-speed, the M20, M21, M22. The cheapest one we found was 550, and if it wasn't for the fact that it was at the complete opposite corner of the event, and schlepping it out we already had.
Carrying a Muncie 4-speed is more CrossFit than I want to do.
But for the most part, the price range on them used to be 500 to 750, and now they're 750 to 1500, depending upon if it's got the shifter on it, if it's got the bell housing on it, if it's, you know. And 9 inchers. We got this one for $150.
Yeah.
Actually, we got the 9-inch, both small block, bare blocks,
And the flywheel.
a flywheel. Grand total of $210. Always go for the package deal. But overall, I guess our very unscientific conclusion is where the prices seem to have peaked there during the pandemic, they have come down, but they still haven't come down to what they were pre-pandemic.
I was gonna say they've gone up, but in all reality, they haven't gone up that much. So if you maxed, like he was saying, you used to be able to get a Muncie for 4 to 750. Now there's 750 to 1500. So there's still some in that 750 range. That was your peak, and now it's your valley.
At the end of the day, we pretty well figured out is there are those vendors who are there who need to make their money. They're there to make money. They know what it's worth, and they ain't gonna take a cent less than that. But then other people are there just trying to clear out their garage, and they know what it is, or they might not necessarily know what it is. They just know they don't want to scrap it, but at the same time, they're willing to let it go for basically scrap prices because they don't have a use for it. And, closing thoughts. Deals are out there. Still, the cost of things has gone up, but it's also come down a little bit, not to where it was, never will be. We are talking about stuff that are commodities and of a limited supply, so it'll inevitably attrit and go down. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you really enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. And until next time, have a junktastic day.